What up, everybody? Welcome back to Dark Souls 3.
What up, fools?
Here on Rachel Jeff.
I'm John.
And we're stuck down here in the muck. Last time we fought a giant because our best friend, asshole Patches, dropped us down here because he is an asshole.
Is that just a light or is that actually a thing?
Nope, that's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that the larger and brighter that little thing is, the more important the item is that you pick up? So
I did not know that. That is new.
Yeah, that's a Vati Vidya 10 things that you didn't know about Dark Souls 3.
Pot 26.
Except that the game doesn't actually like tell you those things, so it's just kind of up to you to fucking figure it out for yourself.
Nah, okay.
Go to hell, you. Yeah, we are going to spend this week wrapping up the Cathedral of the Deep and hopefully killing the boss by the end of this video. So
sweet.
Yeah,
we kill another thing.
So down here, there's just some loot down here that we want to go pick up, and a nice. We can see back. Look, we can always look for our old friend, the bridge, right?
Oh, good.
There's the tower with the giant in it.
Oh,
and down
really
there,
far away.
Over there, we can see the swamps that we bypassed.
Stupid swamps.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and I'm just gonna pop back to the Shran bonfire. Yeah. You said we have a large number of questions this week, huh?
I don't. It's 6,
Fair.
7.
Okay,
6,
you know.
possibly 6. Because
All
I think
right.
one's someone commented on someone else's comment.
Comments on comments.
Yeah,
With a
comment
side-
on comment action.
Jeez Louise.
But I think it's kind of funny because he asked a question in the comment on the comment, but I think the question was directed towards the person who the first poster.
Okay.
So that's whatever. But first up is Snowblind Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John and Jeff.
Hey.
How are you guys? My question this week is about books and video games.
Okay.
With the huge success of The Witcher and the success of games like Dante's Inferno, which are based off of books/poetry, are there any books you like that would make great video games?
Sorry.
Also, have there been any books based on a game franchises that you really enjoyed and made the games more fun or interesting?
Was Dante's Inferno successful?
I don't know. I'm gonna assume it was. I like the animated movie.
Okay.
The game was okay.
We have
It also had fucking Satan Dong in it.
Oh,
so.
yeah. We got a quick story beat here, by the way. I think. Oh.
Hello? Anyone there? Anyone at all?
Sure.
Oh, it's you.
I know that voice. Just how long has it been?
Like 2 episodes.
It's me, Secret of Katerina.
Oh.
I'm loath to admit it, but I've been had. Someone's swiped my armor.
Yeah, we know.
Did you happen to see it anywhere?
Yes.
Yeah. Haven't seen it.
Yes. Not to worry. Great planning.
Did you tell him you haven't seen it?
It's the option to basically throw it down the well to him.
Oh.
And I am a master planner, I do say.
You master something all right. Ha 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 ha. So anyway, when we find Patches again, we'll have the option to buy Sigurd's armor back from him, and then we can throw it down the well and continue down his quest line. So, books to movies, or books to video games.
Yeah,
actually.
books to video games. Are there any books that you like that you're like, man, that would make a really good video game?
Yeah, been a few. I mean, like the books that I tend to read are for the most part, like I've talked about this a lot on the show in different ways, but the books that I tend to read quite a bit are like fucking Captain whoever he drove his ship at light speed and fired all the missiles at the alien menace, etc. Oh shit. So I mean, most of those would make a video game, right?
Yeah,
like, you know. I've always thought that the Neuromancer universe would make for a good video game, but not the Neuromancer story. So, like, that world would probably make for a good, action adventure type of thing, but not necessarily that particular story because it's a little bit too dense and not really that much of an action type of thing. Also, Snow Crash would probably make for a good one.
My problem is I don't read a lot of novels.
Yeah.
So like the book, like, again, I've talked about this on the show. The books that I mostly read are like autobiographies or books by like, I don't know, but like actual like real tales like stuff. Or like I like a lot of stuff on story writing, or like Bruce Campbell's books, even like his completely fiction one, Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way. Like, it's a completely fake book. Like, none of the events in the book actually happened.
Yeah.
But it's based around his life, kind of thing. Like, it's a false version of his own life. Those are the type of things I read. So I don't really read a lot of books that would probably be turned into video games.
Yeah. We're gonna go kill this other giant, by the way.
Okay. Outside of like maybe like I've read a few for like friends books, like some you may have heard of, like Black Goat Motorcycle Club.
Right.
I don't know if that would be able to be a good video game.
I'd probably make a pretty decent video game.
Probably make a decent one.
Hey, fuckface! I am
like,
trying.
I'm sleeping,
dude.
Sleeping.
I know that I'm not doing a lot here, but come. All right, you know what? You're gonna be a shit.
Leave me alone. Sleeping.
Shit bag about it. Actually, and I don't have the proper tools for you fuckfaces. All right, I'm just gonna have to go in there. I hate fighting in swamps. It's funny. I feel like he's forgetting things, like the fact that Tom Clancy, wrote a lot of. I mean, like.
Oh no! He's not saying that those are the only ones. He's just asking, are there?
Yeah. I mean, like Lord of the Rings makes for a pretty decent.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Come on, dude. Come over here. Don't just splash water at me, please. Don't just splash poop water at me. Come over here. Would you please come over here? Would you please? What do you got? Oh, God damn it. Now he's going back to sleep. Ugh.
He's like, you woke me up, dude. Fuck you. And then went back to sleep.
I need to upgrade this torch. Urgh, eat torch, you slime. How about you, slime? You want to eat some torch? Urgh. This is where it really comes in handy to be a pyromancer for 10 minutes.
I think he's awake.
Yeah. If I could just get him to start trying to step on me, like that's really where the... Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
That's the ticket.
Nope.
What'd you throw at him?
It was a Lloyd's talisman. I had it out. Actually, oh, goddamn. I had it out for putting that mimic to sleep, and then I didn't move it away off of my little hot bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of. I mean, I feel like any book that has like action and adventure in it would probably make for a Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
No, goddamn! I am letting him step all over me. I'm letting him walk all over me. I need to be a strong, proud, independent adventurer here, but I'm just letting this giant walk all over my face.
So, do you read any books that are based on video games?
The answer to that question is not since like the old. Remember like the oh goddamn dude. You remember like
did.
I got killed. You remember like the things of power or whatever, like back in the old days. The old days they used to novelize everything.
Yeah.
And in the early days of the NES, people would actually write books that were like novelizations of the video game.
Yeah, I remember I got a 3-pack of it. It was like Metal Gear, Master Blaster, and there was a third one. And
Bionic Commando?
I don't know if that's what it was that was packed with it, but there was a third. It was Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
It was Castlevania. It was like a special pack that I got through like Scholastic thing in school.
You got it at the book fair?
Yeah, I got it at the book fair, and it was a 3-pack, and it came with Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Master Blaster, and they were like in these. Yeah. They were very like small novella.
They're like 120
books.
pages or something
like
that.
Not even that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I read that Metal Gear book a lot of times. Obviously, a little bit different than like where the Metal Gear franchise ended up, but
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, outside of that, like I don't know of a lot of. Oh, I guess like Halo Reach or Fall of Reach, right? That's one that people
I
always
never
talk
really
about.
got into the Halo novels. Like I tried, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Like the comics were good. Like
Yeah.
comic books on video games. The fucking Dead Space one was fucking phenomenal. But it's kind of the first Dead Space one, the one with art by Ben Templesmith. Haven't read the others of Dead Space. But I heard those were pretty good too.
I kind of got my whole. Oh, look, we're hollowing out. See, check it out.
Oh,
Every time we
shit.
take a free level from Yoel, we get a little bit more hollow. That's the hollowing mechanic in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't. For the most part, I've kind of got my set of things that I read. My set of sci-fi, authors that I read, and right now I'm in the book 4 out of this other series that has had like 4 different series and a bunch of different things, and
Yeah.
but I don't really like. I've thought people have said that the Fall of Reach is good, and I
Yeah.
don't begrudge anybody that, but I'm not really interested in sitting down to read a goddamn Halo book. Like I just don't. They have not made me care enough about fucking Master Chief in the games from an emotional level. Like I appreciate them from a technical, action adventure video game level, but like I said, from an emotional level, I'm not really feeling. I don't. Oh goddamn. Okay, can I get on this guy's? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I have really liked is I've been reading a couple of about which they're not books that are based on the story or take place in the world of the video game, but they're actually books about the making of video games.
Oh, yeah?
You can buy them digitally on either on like Kindle or you can get like a physical like through them. I don't remember who it is, but I know it's on. I found it on Amazon. I read one of them that was about Mega Man 3.
Yeah.
That I thought was really good. And
About
also,
the making of Mega Man 3?
yeah, it was basically this guy doing like this whole retrospective,
Like a post-mortem?
yeah, post-mortem on it, talking about like interviews and the making of it and how it came to be and all that. And then there was another book about the game Spelunky, which is Amanda's favorite game in the world. But it was actually written by the guy who created Spelunky, and it was basically about the making of that game too. And it was really good read about video games and stuff. So I mean, it's like all the books are written by different people. Like I think there was a Metal Gear one actually written by Anthony and Ashley Birch. They co-wrote it. Them talking about the Metal Gear franchise.
Yeah.
There's another one talking about Kid Icarus and a bunch of others. Those interest me. Like, those interest me way more than, like, books about, that take place in the world. Like, give me comics about video games that take place in the world, but...
Yeah.
I think that's where my thing is. Like when it comes to books, like with words on page, tell me how something's made or how you got to where you are. I'm not really interested otherwise.
Okay.
But when it comes to pictures,
Yeah.
that I'm totally cool with.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's just the way I am.
All right. Killed the giant.
Sweet.
And I got the Drang gear.
So, yeah. So I apologize, Snowblind Yeti. I'm not really good at answering your question. But Jeff gave you some good answers. John Ace of Card asks, Jeff or John, do you play games when characters make fun of video game tropes? In Dragon Age Inquisition, Iron Bull makes comments about boob armors,
Yep.
how they are impractical and death traps. I guess he's asking, do you like? Because even the question that Persia King 44 responded with is, are you asking them if they've played games that make fun of video game tropes, or are you asking them, do they like games?
Yeah. It depends. I mean, it just depends on how it's done. Anything could be great if it's like, well written.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh shit! Goddamn.
Oh,
Goddamn.
he gonna kill you?
Maybe I can't even tell where I am. Oh fuck.
That's what I was saying. He gonna kill you. Because you stuck in the geometry of the wall.
Yeah, I can't seem to get around him. Yeah. I really would rather not. Okay, well, that happened. I hate those guys so much. So very much.
You got stuck on the wall.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to go clear out, because there's shit in the rafters and on the roof of this place that we have yet to do. We need to do that, and then we need to go do the other stuff, and then we'll be ready to move it to the boss area. I mean, yeah, I don't really have any real serious problem with that. The whole boob armor thing, I feel like a lot of people... I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, ooh, look how clever we are. We're pointing out how stupid boob armor is. And it's like, motherfucker, you're about a decade late with that particular little reference, right? Like, we all know why boob armor exists. And
we all know why it would actually kill the person wearing it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you know, be like Game of Thrones or like Wonder Woman, and just like, you know, make your ladies not have to wear boob armor, and then we'll all get along better. So,
yep. All right. Well, Persia King 44 does actually have a question that is directed at us and not at that previous question, which is, if you guys are playing a game that is an adaptation or actually part of a pre-established franchise, say like The Witcher or Lord of the Rings, are the decisions you make throughout the game influenced by what is canon for those franchises? For example, The Witcher games give you the option of romancing Yennefer or Triss. In the books, however, Yennefer is the sole love interest for Geralt. And anytime I've done a playthrough of Wild Hunt, I always go with Yennefer, simply because I prefer to stick to canon. Does that affect your play?
No, I don't give a shit. I mean, like, the thing is that, well, here's the thing. First off, I'd have to know that, and the game the game doesn't really volunteer that information. Yeah. So, you know, the first thing is that we would have to get to I actually know that that's a thing. And I can't think of that many other video games where there is like a specific choice canon. Most games that will...
The first Star Wars Force Unleashed. The ending kind of has an ending that is sort of canon, and then has an ending that is totally not canon at all in any way.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I did both. I wanted to see what happens. Like, I'm not gonna like not play that part of the game just because it's not canon for the story.
I think for me, if I'm like super familiar with the canon of a story, because especially if it's an adaptation, not a continuation. Like if it's an adaptation, like it's telling the story of the book or the movie, I might actually go with the other option just to see the difference. Yeah. Because that interests me to know, well, how can I make this different? How can I go in a direction that is not where the movie or the book or the TV show or the, you know, whatever went? Yeah. So in a way, yes, it does affect me. It does influence me because I always go the opposite. But if it's also one of those things where it's, you know, like it's a hard choice of yes or no for something, or one or the other, I might play through a game multiple times and just do both.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not really that much of a it's not a situation that comes up that much where a game is trying to do something that breaks the canon of because the first thing that you need for that particular scenario is a story that exists outside of the video game, where the video game is not the prime narrative point of the story. And that's very, I mean, it's not, you know, completely, you do see it from time to time, but like it's not something that you see really all that often. So motherfucker, I know there's one of those little thieves is up here. Yep, there you are. Oh fuck. Okay. Motherfucking fucker.
So Wiener Schnitzel has more of a comment, not a question. Which he's talking about Andre.
Yep.
He said, for the longest time, I understood pretty be careful when you leave Andre. Yeah. I always felt flattered that Andre thinks my character's pretty.
No, that's not what that means. It's prithee. It's Old English for like, I don't know. John, help me out with that.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what
It's
prithee
like
is.
prithee like attend like yeah. You'd have to look it up on the internet, but it's I'm sure that this was a joke that you
Yeah.
already know that isn't the case. But
Yeah, no, I know.
What?
But
You know, yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of, was falling off the edge. See, you know what? This is actually an interesting place. It's like, you see how, remember we went down this entire place, like, before?
Yeah.
And, like, this whole cathedral, it's got, like, a big outside and, like, a big inside. It's got, like, a roof, and all
Yeah.
these different places have different stuff. So, you know, Dark Souls 3 is not as expansive of a world as Dark Souls 1, but I feel like the individual locations are pretty dense.
Yeah.
Like, I actually feel like this is a good example of when I talk about how I want open world games to have more density instead of more surface area. I'd like to say that this is a pretty decent example of what I'm talking about, because
no, I agree with you.
I'd rather have lots of little, like a well-crafted whole building with, like, you know, like windows and doors and fucking go this way and go that way, and there's a bunch of little shortcuts that open up and stuff, rather than like a bunch of cathedrals that are all relatively empty and don't mean anything. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jonathan Scratch says, I'm sorry about the degree thing. I didn't. I just thought you guys were smart and say smart things. Smart like intelligent, like not like smart asses. Please, John and Jeff, don't stab my neck with a pen.
I don't remember exactly something about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, you were doing some kind of Joe Pesci thing last week.
Yeah, he's like John and Jeff Pesci. He was like...
I don't remember what brought that on, though.
Yeah, I
Jonathan Scratch, as you can see, all has been forgiven because neither one of us can remember shit. So.
Yeah, I have the memory of a goldfish, so I will tell you,
Yep.
I thought it was hilarious. So for those who don't know, I'm not going to say where, but I do call center phone support. And
Dumbo.
yeah, that was weird. And this dude was just really pissed off that we would not give him would not just give him like the world.
Sure.
And he just like pissed off, and his insult to me, because he was mad, was
jeez.
you fucking millennials and your fucking marketing degrees. I hope you all realize that those degrees are worthless.
Oh, God damn it.
I hope you realize those degrees are worthless and you are poor forever and die in a car accident. And I was like, wait, if I had a marketing degree, I'd be making a shit ton more money. I wish I had a marketing degree.
You millennials and your marketing degrees.
So apparently millennials are known for having marketing degrees.
Yeah. You guys all got marketing degrees. Everybody knows I'm not a millennial. I'm fucking Generation X, y'all.
And that's a weird thing. For the longest time, I always assumed I was Generation X until someone told me.
Until today?
Well, no.
When somebody called you millennial, you're like,
no.
whoa, no.
No,
happening.
it's actually kind of funny because, like, for the longest time, I was always like, oh, I'm Gen X because that's what I grew up in. Like,
right.
I grew up thinking I'm a Gen Xer, and then someone's like, no, you're not a Gen Xer, you're a millennial. And I'm like, oh, okay. That person was a Gen Xer.
Right.
And then later on, I was like, well, someone told me I was a millennial, and then an actual millennial was like, nah, fuck you, you're Gen X, you're not a millennial. Because apparently...
Are you Gen Y? Is that what happened? Because there was that, and it just never took off, right?
Yeah, it never took off. So like, apparently, I looked this up online, and the difference between Gen X and millennials, there's like a 4-year gap in between of them that is considered both a Gen X and a millennial, and I'm right in the smack dab middle of that gap.
Oh man. Poor John doesn't have a people anymore.
Yeah, I
right?
don't know.
He's just aimlessly wandering through the world with no
I am
cliche.
No, I'm both a Gen X and millennial at the same time, while at the same time being neither of them.
God damn! So you got like half a marketing degree and half like a flannel shirt and
yeah. I've got a flannel business suit and a non-completed marketing degree.
Okay, and you're 3 credits short of a full marketing degree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. That's it, Jeff.
You fucking millennial X.
Anyways, he says, all goofing aside, why aren't there more pulp aviation adventure games or media for that matter, like Crimson Skies, The Rocketeer, and Porco Rosso?
Yeah, that's a Studio Ghibli.
Is it just too niche of a style?
Yes.
It is too niche. I think the last game that tried to do something like that was Dark Void.
There have been. I feel like there have been a few since then. It's not a. Oh God! Oh fuck you guys! All right, you know what? Go to hell. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. Oh boy. It's just I think there might have been a few like indie titles that did stuff.
Yeah,
since then,
what was
but
there was a couple. There was one we almost played for a super awesome video game show that I bought.
see these guys?
Yeah.
They're worm men.
Yeah.
And look who it is.
Yes, hello. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Yes, we have.
I'm Patches. Unbreakable Patches.
Want to?
You seem to be unkindled. Do you have business with me?
So you're just gonna act like we've never met.
You know who I am.
Oh, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was my hand, as you know. But the deed, well, that was the armor's doing.
What?
Regrettable, truly. But behold, I'm stripped clean.
Is he insinuating that the Onion Knight armor made him trick us?
Yes.
Why would that?
Well, that ends well.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yes, we'll be fine. I can tell. It's that rotten curse. It is. The untidy mess.
You know who he comes off reminding me as, character-wise? Like that's not.
It wasn't me. But
Tell me.
still deserve an apology.
Kind of reminds me of Murdoch from the Gorillas. Like just that sleazy kind of trying to always fuck you over, but when he gets caught, he's totally like, "Oh no, it wasn't me. It's Charlie. I'm your friend. We're best friends." You know.
I don't really know anything
Yeah.
about.
Oh, see,
Murdoch.
I'm a huge Gorillas nerd. So
You'll find plenty of good stuff.
So you could just kill him
And-
because this is not cheap.
Yeah.
This is 6, 11, 14, something like 17,000 worth of equipment. Or actually, we just need the armor. So you could always just kill him, but I always just buy this stuff just because, you know.
because you like Patches.
Well, the thing is that Patches is a vendor, and he's actually a useful vendor. He sells like poison resin, and he sells, poison arrows, and he sells stuff. And he's Patches. I mean, like, I don't know. He's been in every From Software game. He's like the guy, right?
Yeah. No, I
he's
know.
the guy from every From Software game that. So if we raise this back up, it's actually funny. There's another one of these back over there where you can actually trap that giant. You can trap a giant like in one of these,
Yeah.
so that you can fight him in a more.
So do you get
enclosed
halfway
space.
across and then he
No,
rolls it
he's
again?
done. He's done fucking with us now. So we're just going to go up here. There's a covenant up here that we're just going to check out, but we're not actually going to join. But first, we've got to kill all the worms. So remember Ringfinger Leonhard?
Yeah.
He was the guy that gave us the key to the. Well, I don't think we actually did that in this game yet. He was called Ringfinger Leonhard, and he was the guy in the sanctuary who gave us the cracked red eye orbs, and was like, "Go invade other people." And then we got the pale tongues, which are what you get when you invade people and kill them. He was like, "Oh, you've invaded people. Here, have the next thing on the list." And then we didn't actually use that, but he is part of this covenant that's over here called Rosaria's Fingers, and they're basically the invasion PvP covenant. And Rosaria is this like goddess who will let you do interesting things. She's actually how you respec. So if you go and you give her 5 pale tongues, you can respec your character.
Oh, okay.
Who's making that? Is that you? And you can make those. You can make. You can also redo the cosmetics on your character.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
can only do that 5 times. And the reason is that if you do it more than 5 times, then you would turn into one of these things. These are people who have tried to redo their kind of lot in life 5 times. But Rosaria had her tongue cut out, and so that's why her fingers go out and bring her tongues from other people in PvP. So that's Rosaria, and I also like the fact that she's got all these cribs hanging from the ceiling in her room
Creepy.
here. Yeah, she's pretty creepy, and she's as a goddess, she's like kind of cradling this like worm guy. So it's a little weird, and also you can see that her hair comes off of the
Yeah,
it goes way
yeah.
out. She's got a kind of a thing. So you could join this covenant. But if you equip it, then I think I don't think that you have to. I think you have to give her a tongue, but I'm not entirely certain. But Cirrus of the Wandering Realms, the lady that we met before, will stop talking to you and you fail her quest line if you do that. So we, generally speaking, are going to not do that. But I was going to look at the item description. Sacred Seal of Archdeacon Klimt, who served Rosaria, Mother of Rebirth, equipped to pledge oneself to the Rosaria's Fingers Covenant. Rosaria's Fingers collect tongues in her name. Some do it to be reborn. Others do it to help comfort their voiceless goddess. So, whole other thing. And then we're going to go back and now that we've got that side done, we're going to go back in the front door and do a few of the things that I skipped, and then we have a boss fight. So, do we have any other comments
I think we
or
have
questions?
one more. This one is from Brover Plays.
For who?
Brover Plays. He says, okay, so you see the phantoms throughout the game.
Yep.
Segue.
Yeah.
Jeff, you mentioned you went to a seance a few weeks ago.
I did.
Have either of you experienced anything paranormal or unexplainable?
Dun, dun, dun. No.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, I
All
mean, I've kind of, so this, while I was involved in this, I don't remember this because a lot of my memory before the age of 12 is a little messed up because of a concussion that I got at one point. But apparently when I was young, there were instances of me playing in the house, and one day according to my mother, the front door just opened on its own wide and then shut. And I don't mean like shut like it just like the wind blew it. Like I'm talking like opened and slammed hard.
Okay.
And she was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
And then apparently my reaction was, "Oh, that was the ghost that lived in our house. He was upset that no one was paying attention to him, so he left."
Mm-hmm. That sounds like some that sounds like some made up kid bullshit.
No. I know. I agree with you. But the thing is that my mom used to actually claim that it always felt prior to that, and this is like not something that she told me retroactively after telling the story. This is something I've actually do know, is that she always felt that the house was maybe not haunted, but always felt a little uneasy in the house.
What are you doing?
And yeah. I seem to always have an imaginary friend that I would talk to that
Wasn't it? It was imaginary.
That she would because of that one instance is it.
Yeah, he didn't. He was hanging off the edge, and I hit him before he could come up.
Oh,
so his animation, he started counterattacking me before he actually existed in this plane. So he knows he did the attacks, and then he and then he pulled himself up, and then when he realized he was standing in midair like a Looney Tune, he fell down.
Yeah. But so my mom, because of that one instance, she used to wonder if the house was actually haunted, and that I was the only person that talked to it, but was never afraid of it, so that it then left.
Okay.
I don't know. Silly things, because it was also one of those things where I would draw like pictures of the face of the imaginary friend, and like it was
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I was young. I don't know. I was like a tiny child. But most like that was I would probably. There was also I will say there was a thing with Amanda. I scared the fuck out of Amanda one night.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, this was more of like sleep paralysis, night terrors, nightmare type situation. Not really supernatural. I don't think it has any like supernatural bearing. But so I was sleeping next to her, and in the dream or whatever the hell it was, all I knew was like there was this like Native American like shaman kind of like you see out of movies or whatever, like hovering over me.
Yeah.
And like I was like half asleep, and when I noticed it, I just started screaming, and like literally woke up screaming. like really loud, and Amanda was freaked out by that. And
Well, sure, you don't want to wake up screaming. That's just you know.
and it used to freak her out because like after that, like she would always claim that she would see stuff in the corner of her eyes. You know, so she hated going into our bedroom for a long time.
Yeah. I want to make it clear though that I'm not. Oh, by the way, this is really weird. There's an item in this room. There's a monster in this room that shows up this once and just like never again in the entire game. I'm not sure why. Feels like a Bloodborne monster.
Oh shit! Yeah, it does.
like it doesn't fit with anything else
like
that's in
it's
here.
like a cross between a spider and like the Bloodstar Beast.
Yeah, sort of. It's got all kinds of craziness to it, but you can also just like stand in the doorway. Come on, dude. It's got like all this like fur on it. Like it really does remind me of a Bloodborne enemy more than a Dark Souls 3 enemy.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you are not a believer in the paranormal or the supernatural or any of that stuff.
Not really. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a believer, but then I also like I was, I told this story when we talked about the seance, but like I also don't like ridicule people or
Yeah.
anything. Like and I'm also not completely, I like to think that I don't think that I don't have enough hubris to be like, oh, I've got life totally figured out, John. You
Yeah.
know, life. Oh well, me and life, I got it all figured out. I know what everything is. I know the right way to live your life, and I know what exists and what doesn't. And everybody should listen to me. Like, fuck it, go make up your own goddamn mind. Don't listen to me.
I will admit, I do believe in paranormal stuff because there are certain things that that aren't explained or whatnot, and I'm sure there's explanations behind them. However, I don't believe like it's like weird like it's like I believe like I
you
for one
could fly?
I'm agnostic for one.
Sure.
Like I don't believe in like that there is a god or that there are many gods, but at the same time there could be. Like it's I believe there's something.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's, quote unquote God. But at the same time, it's and for the longest time I didn't even know that there was a term for that. Like I didn't know agnostic was a thing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to ghosts, I do believe I do believe that when you die, there's there is energy in your body when that energy has to go somewhere. And sure, I know that I think there have been like scientists who have actually debunked that whole thing, but I don't believe in like ghosts. Like you'll see an apparition of a of a ghostly body hovering over. I don't believe in that, but I do believe that there is something. Does that make sense?
Sure.
That it's just something we don't understand, and per our whether ghosts are actual the energy of an essence of a person after they die that leaves their body and just hasn't moved on yet or hasn't dissipated,
Yeah.
or if it's something where we're seeing some weird cross-dimensional rift or something, and we're seeing an echo from from another dimension or something like that, that's not actually part of our own reality but is just there or something. Whether it be any of those really crazy out there ideas,
Sure.
I totally it could be like it's like until it's I don't know, like I said, it's like until I could be told by scientists like you're wrong, none of that stuff exists, nothing, everything, because I'm of the belief that anything is possible. I believe that science is fact. Like I'm not one of those people like, oh, scientists can go fuck themselves, they don't know what they're talking about. Science is fact, but science is just our way of explaining what we thought was impossible. What we think is impossible one day, science will prove could be possible later on.
Sure.
As our understanding of science changes.
You're getting real metaphysical over here.
Well, yeah. I'm just kind of explaining. It's like,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things that I am very much open. I will say I happen to believe some things that have been talked about by one Dan Aykroyd, though I will admit that man is sometimes very crazy. He's
Yeah.
sometimes cray with some of his beliefs. But I actually do think some of the things he has said that I've heard him talk about are along the lines of what I believe or would like to believe is true. Until someone proves it wrong, and then it's like, oh, it turns out that energy you're seeing is not, a ghost of a person. It's actually this other thing, and it's proven the fact that it's this other thing. It's like, okay, cool, that's what that is, but it's still there.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's also the way our minds plays tricks on us. It's a whole bunch of combination of things.
Sure.
So, there you go. There's been my metaphysical moment for the.
Hey, everybody, it's time for the Metaphysical Moments with John.
Yeah.
So we're actually right about the point where we're going to be getting to the boss.
Yeah, I was like, I thought we were going to go kill a boss.
We are. We just had to finish up. We don't want to have to come back here later.
Yeah.
And I just...
I think you yeah. Oh!
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, when I'm not stuck in a corner, if I can, like, deal with this a-hole...
Come at me, bro. Oh. His big-ass sword.
Oh, shit. He's got just a weird... Oh, fuck. Okay. Yep. This boss isn't especially hard, so...
Yeah.
But I'm just going to, instead of doing this, I'm going to use another... Oh, I can't use a second ember? Okay, well, let me just get my... shit done. So, I don't know if you remember, but for this fight, we're going to be bringing in some guests that we've seen before. As I said, I don't know if you remember, but we got our buddy Henri of Astora, who was talking about how her and her buddy Horus over here were trying to hunt down Aldrich of the Deep, right? The Aldrich the Devourer.
Yeah.
And they were heading in the direction of the chapel. So now that we're here, we can summon them in.
The chapel, and we're gonna kill a dude.
Now this is actually really interesting because we are. This is a spoiler alert for the next 25 seconds. He's not here. So remember Big Goopy Aldrich? He ain't here. The Deacons of the Deep are here instead, like his people, his bros. And this is actually kind of an interesting boss fight because you see how that one guy is
glowing red?
Is glowing red. He's the actual boss, but the boss is kind of an energy that switches between people. So
when you kill one, it goes to somebody else.
It goes to the next one. And that's why this is actually a really nice fight to have help with because there's a lot of them, and you see some of them are doing range attacks, some of them are a little bit heavier.
You might want to heal yourself, bro.
But Henri and Horus are actually really good for this fight because they can do crowd control for you while you track down the individual spirit. And there's actually I think there might actually be a named presence that this thing is, but this is a relatively simple fight, but I like it because I like it when Dark Souls 3 tries to do something different.
Yeah.
It does that maybe a half dozen times over the course of the game, and I enjoyed that because...
So is it spawning new dudes as well?
Yes. Yeah. They don't ever fully cease. And then the next step is that they're going to start proccing Curse. So you really want to get all up in there. Oh, no. Is if you try to leave them alone for too long, then they'll try to hit you with this this giant curse hit. Now this is where it actually, so this is where he's not moving around anymore, where it's always the same person that has the soul. And there you go.
All right.
Not too difficult, right? But fun.
Heir of the Fire destroyed.
So yeah. What are you guys still fighting? You guys fighting stuff? So we got a small doll and the soul of the Deacons of the Deep. Let's take a look. So the small doll is actually listed under our keys. Small silverwork doll depicting a young squire. In the legendary old city of Irithyll, situated in the Boreal Valley, the Pontiff Sullivan gave this doll to valued subjects so that they might use it to cross the barrier when they return home. Listen carefully, you can hear it say, wherever you go, the moon still sets in Irithyll. Wherever you may be, Irithyll is your home. So we've actually heard of the Boreal Valley, right?
Yeah.
With Vort in the very beginning. And we've heard of Pontiff Sulivan as well via Vort. And then the other thing that we managed to pick up, oh, hey, I had a Estus Flask shard and a Bone shard. Should have had those. Should have made those be a thing, but didn't need them. Is the soul of the Deacons of the Deep, which you can see is kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's dark blue.
Yeah, steeped in strength. Used to acquire many souls or transpose to extract its true strength. After Aldrich left for the Boreal Valley, Archdeacon Royce remained in the cathedral with the high priest to keep eternal watch over the master's coffin. So that was Archdeacon Royce that we killed. We know that Aldrich has left for the Boreal Valley.
He's left the building.
That's right. The thing that confused the fuck out of me when I was first here, and see, they're actually watching over his coffin. This was his coffin.
Oh.
Because he was a big boy. He's a big guy. Is that where we are now is just a dead end. Like, we can go no further. This is just
Giant circular room. And
this is the end of it. And so when I first played through this, I actually didn't see the way into the swamp. And I think I do this with every Dark Souls game, is I didn't see the way that was into the swamp. So I got to this place and I was like, well, what the fuck? Where do I go next? I got a doll. I got a thing, and like there's nowhere else to go. And then I looked online. I found out that most people go to this place later because of the big smashy knights and everything. So anyway, that's it for Dark Souls 3 this week. We got another boss down, and next week we are going to head to the swamp, my least favorite area in any video game. The swamp. We're gonna drain it, John. We're gonna drain the swamp. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna fight the swamp. Thanks, everybody, for your questions and writing in. Thanks, as always, for being Patreons. Y'all are the bestest around. And you should join us back here next week because we're moving our way forward. And we're
moving right along.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to... I don't think...
Fancy free.
I don't know if we're going to be able... We might have to have most of these areas be two-parters from now on because the swamp is dense, and I don't know if we can get through it all in one go. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Later.